Hello YouTube, welcome to the 4th episode of the Griefer Hour podcast. I am joined as always by Vic. How are you doing, Vic?
What's up? I'm doing great, kind of. Little congested. Sorry for the viewers if it sounds that way. A little bit of a cold this weekend.
I'm sorry to hear that. I know everyone's getting sick right now.
Oh yeah, weather's changing. But in more exciting news, Alex.
Yes.
What have you got?
What do I got? Well, it was my birthday this weekend. I'm 25 now, I'm big 25. I went home to see my parents this past weekend and we had some cake and got a few cool presents. Actually, I'll show one to the viewers right now. I got a little Nessie plush from Apex. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? So Nessie's gonna join me in my setup here. Kind of sit in the back here, everyone can watch. So just a reminder for everyone that all the chapters for topics that we're going to talk about can be found in the slider below. And if you're just listening to this like a noob and not watching, well, I guess you're listening to all of this. Vic, could you please hit us with the quick chats for this week?
I would love to. Actually, we had a lot of interaction on our last one. We'd love to see it. Starting off, of course, with our favorite guy. Drizo asks us, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? It's Michael Jordan, man.
I think this is a no-brainer.
6 for 6, man.
Never lost. Never went to a game 7 either.
Built different.
Built different. All right, our next quick chat is from Baby Drew Studios, who asks us, what is the saddest excuse for an NFL franchise right now? I'm going to be honest. I had a hard time picking this one out because there's a lot of easy teams to like make fun of, especially like the Lions. I thought the Lions would be too easy, to be honest.
I don't know, man. They're winning a lot this season.
Right. They did beat the Bears.
Big win.
So I'm going to go a different route, though. I'm going to go like almost like a sleeper team for the saddest franchise. And I got to say, it's got to be the Houston Texans.
That's a sleeper?
I mean, I mean, who cares about the Texans? And that's kind of my point is like, besides Davis Mills, Damian Pierce, Brandon Cooks, like who else really on that team matters? I mean, no one really cares. Everyone's like, oh, Texans, you know, JJ Watt, Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, but really, without Watson, that team only has a winning percentage of 42%.
You got to remember, they've only been in the league the last 20 years. They were part of that 0-2 expansion.
They were, so but I mean,
it's been rough for
20
them.
years of being bad. It's pretty rough.
It is, and I think they have Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, but then that's kind of where my knowledge ends.
Right. I mean, one of your more notable players is just a guy that someone got a picture of him smoking in the gas mask.
Anyway. On to our third quick chat of the day, setting records out here. Patrick Stoner asks, and now that the universal designated hitter is in baseball, should the league reorganize the divisions and even the conferences? That is very interesting. And I'm going to go based off your question. Should they? I think it would be very interesting. Would not hate it. However, I think baseball is one of those sports where it's too rigid and it's been around too long. And that they just never would. Right. That's my personal opinion.
They probably would not.
But to answer the question, should they? You know what? I think it'd be hella fun.
It would be. And that leads us to our last quick chat, again from Drizo. And I really like this one. He asks, what is the perfect post-gaming snack/meal? Now, I don't know about you, but when I game, I get a little salty. So what better way to, you know, finish my gaming session with a little salty chocolate covered pretzel. I really like those.
Sticking with the chocolate theme, dude, some chocolate milk. Bussin'. As always. Maybe some water, you know, gotta stay hydrated, you're sweating it out. And then my personal favorite snack, people have seen it in the shorts, Cool Ranch Doritos, man.
That is a winning combination.
It really do be. And then of course, as always, remember to put your hashtag quick chats down below. Ask us any question you want to hear our thoughts on, and we'll answer as many as we can in this little segment. Again, remember to put hashtag quick chats in the comments.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Vic. And you know, just like your water/chocolate milk and Cool Ranch Doritos combo, let's talk about another winning combo that's been going on lately. We're going to go to basketball and we're going to talk about the Utah Jazz.
They're crazy.
They are very good this year. Right now, as of recording, they are 10-4 and they lead the Western Conference. And this was a team that pretty much everyone thought was just headed straight to a rebuild, but they've proven everyone wrong. I mean, you trade away Rudy Gobert to the Timberwolves, and you're like, oh, this team's just chalked. I mean, this is done. But you have Lauri Markkanen averaging over 21 points a game, and then Mike Conley leading in assists at 7.5. I mean, this is kind of the team effort in basketball that you see on a Popovich team, like the Spurs, moving the ball, sharing the ball, pass or shoot, make a quick decision. And I think they look a lot like OKC Thunder from last year. Remember that team, that young team?
They came out playing their hearts out, ready to earn that money and show that they're not here to just throw games.
Now, what do you think Danny Ainge thinks of this whole thing, though?
I honestly, I don't know. It's still super early. 10-4 is a great record going into the first, 20-ish games of the season. However, there is still, I think, plenty of room for this team to easily follow 10-10, maybe finish the season 40-42. Easy.
Mm-hmm. Utah Jazz really doesn't have any star players, but there has been another player in this league that's been a star player, and Vic?
There has.
You want to go into that?
Oh, yeah. The Mavericks have this great guy, Luka Doncic. He's playing incredible this year. 33.6 points a game, 8.3 rebounds, 7.9 assists. And he has a great efficiency rating at 34.1. I mean, I know it's crazy early to talk about this, but who doesn't? MVP candidate, Luka? I wouldn't say no.
No, he's playing his heart out, and he's putting together some winning basketball.
He's definitely the face of that franchise.
Easily.
At this point.
Well, they used to be him and Porzingis together, but Doncic said, no, that's my team.
I can't blame him. He's really shown he is the guy. And, when the guy shows up for a team, you can't tell him no. If you're all in on him, which the Mavericks seem to be, you can't hate it. Getting great play out of him.
So I got to ask this question, kind of to, I don't want to say poke the bear, but is Luka Doncic kind of sort of like a LeBron? That style of play? I'm not saying he is LeBron. I'm just saying he plays kind of like LeBron.
It's not a horrible take. I don't know who else. Here's the thing. I can't disagree with you because I don't know who else I would liken him to. Because maybe he's closer to a Jason Tatum, but then aren't people comparing Jason Tatum to LeBron? So, I mean, in essence, I'm just comparing him to somebody that's being compared to LeBron. Very similar. The offense flows through him. When I think of LeBron, I think of more big physical guy. Not LeBron's, huge, right. But, he's not tiny. Does that make sense?
Luka's a little more slow and methodical.
Yeah, and I think Luka's a little faster, a little quick step. I don't know who else to liken him to, but I think LeBron's fair. I think he's a little bit faster than LeBron.
Well, as always, we are talking about LeBron, so we gotta
slander.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the Lakers again.
As we do. People love it.
Of course. Lakers right now are 2-10, which is second worst in the NBA right now. I gotta ask, I mean, can they really win? Can they go anywhere with this current team this year?
I think the lottery is where they can play themselves into, and 30-52 is a record. LeBron can win 30 games this year. Sometimes you got to play teams, and they got to rest players, and that's the best they're going to get is as a freebie wins when people are playing load management.
One thing I've thought about, and kind of answer the question too, I don't think they're going anywhere legitimate with this current team as it stands. I think the Lakers have an opportunity to maybe turn their team around.
Oh, well, I think it's very evident with the quote-unquote talent they have. More, I guess, veteran experience is better than talent.
Veteran experience is a very nice way of putting it.
It really is. Like I said, I think I said this in episode 1, they got to start producing and prove they are somewhat productive so that when they have, a trade in the talks, they're at least valued very decently rather than trading them for a bag of chips and a Dr. Pepper.
Right. I mean, at this point, they may as well trade away LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook. They don't have any picks either because they've been using those to acquire players. So they're kind of setting themselves up for failure, especially what happens when LeBron leaves, retires or whatever.
True. Oh, well, you got to think LeBron's going to go to and muscle his way into whatever team Bronny gets traded to or drafted by, really. And then he's going to play there a year and then retire. You got to think they'll get something at least in return for LeBron. Obviously, no agreement would include his son, Bronny, but it'd be hilarious. Imagine you get traded to this team that drafted your son, but then your son gets traded to the Lakers in exchange, and you don't get to play with him. Imagine how pissed he'd be.
I don't think that would happen. I think LeBron.
No, it wouldn't. It was a little funny to think about, though. You got to think they'll get at least, maybe a first round pick out of LeBron for his age, and people know he's going to retirement that year. But he's still going to decently produce. He won't be a non-factor on that team.
Yeah, so as we do every week, the Lakers are pretty awful, and I think we're going to move on to our next segment. We're actually going to do something different. Since baseball season's over, we are going to look at the World Cup this year, and we have a special guest for the podcast today, my good friend Dakota. Dakota, how are you doing?
Good, Alex. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. As you know, it's my birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Can you give the viewers or viewers/listeners a little introduction about yourself, what you're studying, and just a little bit about what you've been up to?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Dakota. I'm studying athletic training at UWSP. I've known Alex since we've been college roommates down at Platteville. Big soccer fan, which is kind of why I'm here today. I kind of want to talk about the World Cup a little bit and kind of give the audio listeners and viewers just kind of a little insight as to what's going to be happening here in November.
Good. And I kind of want you to give us your elevator pitch for why people should care more about soccer. Because I know a lot of people in the U.S. kind of hate on it because they say it's boring, but I know you enjoy it, I enjoy it. I think more people could definitely enjoy soccer. So
yeah,
what is it about soccer that you want to sell people on?
So soccer is technically the most popular sport in the world. I think it's a very cultured and very historical sport. I think Americans don't necessarily like it as much because it's not a sport that we created or that we're really good at. So I think Americans tend to sweep it under the rug. But I think this World Cup is going to be really important for Americans. I think we're going to realize now that we have a pretty decent team that can make a semi-decent run into this tournament and maybe make a couple upsets. So I think Americans should start to pay a little bit more attention to what this team is going to be able to bring to this World Cup.
Okay, awesome. So you wanna run through the U.S. team, our boys?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So it's a fairly young team that we've named, that our coach Greg Berhalter has named for this World Cup. A couple more popular names that I'll just kind of throw out there that some people may know. Obviously, we have Christian Pulisic, which is kind of the face of the American team this generation. He plays for Chelsea over in England, so big Premier League club. He's going to definitely be our captain throughout the whole tournament. Definitely look for him to be kind of leading the troops through the battle. Another popular name that some people may recognize from 2 World Cups ago would be DeAndre Yedlin. He's going to be the most senior member of the World Cup roster, meaning he's got the most caps for the U.S. men's national team, coming in at 75 appearances. Another name that people may like is Josh Sargent. So he plays for Norwich City over in England, another Premier League team, and he's been kind of turned on the burners over in that side of the pond. So definitely look for him to be making a big splash as we kind of get going into the World Cup. And then one last one, the goalkeeper Matt Turner plays for Arsenal, again, another Premier League team. So definitely some big names coming over from the English Premier League to play for the U.S. men's national team, which I think is going to be a huge boost to our squad and to our abilities on the field.
So one thing I wanted to ask is, you say the U.S. team is better, it seems, than maybe in past years, in past World Cups. You want to run through kind of where they stand and where some of the other big clubs stand around the world?
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. So most people think of the U.S. athletes as like the top of the line athletes. Obviously, the Olympics every 4 years shows that. But most people may be surprised to know that the U.S. team doesn't even technically crack the top 15 of the men's national rankings. So the United States comes in at number 16, behind a lot of pretty stacked competition. So topping the charts for the men's national teams is Brazil coming in at number 1. Belgium number 2, a surprising number 2 at Belgium, but they've got this is technically their golden generation, so be on the lookout for Belgium. Argentina, no surprise at number 3, Lionel Messi spearheading that team right there. France at number 4. France is the 2018 World Cup winner, so they're the defending champions. Look for them to be putting on a pretty stalwart defense of their title. England at number 5. Italy, who did not even qualify for the World Cup, is at number 6. Spain at number 7. The Netherlands at number 8. Portugal at number 9. Denmark ranking closing out the top 10, and then 11 through 14 is Germany, Croatia, Mexico, Uruguay, and Switzerland at number 15. So of those 16 teams that I just listed, the only one that's not in the World Cup is Italy. So all of those teams are teams that the U.S. may have to compete with at some point.
Interesting. Some of those teams surprised me on your list, actually. I'm kind of surprised at where the Netherlands rank and kind of where Germany ranks, because I kind of thought they'd be up a little bit higher.
Yeah, the Netherlands, surprisingly not high enough, or not very high, because of how little experience they have at the world level with this team that they have, this current roster and generation that they have. The 2014-2018 roster for the World Cup was much more experienced. The name Robben may come up, and you may remember that name. He played for Bayern Munich, and he had a nasty left foot. He's actually what took the Netherlands all the way into the 2014 World Cup semifinals, I believe. So he's a very, very good team, very, very good member of that team, but he retired. He's no longer on that team, which is why I think the Netherlands don't rank as high as they probably could be. The standout player on that team now is obviously Van Dijk, and he's a defender, so don't look for him to be scoring too many goals, but a pretty stalwart defense back there. And then, yeah, Germany, Alex, only ranked 11th in the world. They just haven't been able to really put together any good competitions. Like the Euros, they didn't finish great at the 2020 Euros. They don't have a really good squad of players right now that have played together a long time, so I think FIFA's kind of ranking them a little bit low. But again, they have a lot of history. Obviously, everyone remembers 7-1 against Brazil in the 2014.
Even the casual fans probably remember 7-1.
Exactly. Everyone remembers that from the 2014 World Cup. And the way I have my predictions set up, I have Brazil and Germany meeting at some point in the World Cup here. So don't be surprised if maybe Brazil is out for a little revenge.
All right, revenge game. Sounds good. Do you want to go through kind of your predictions?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
How this World Cup's going to shape up?
Yeah, absolutely. So the World Cup has got 8 groups, and then out of each group can only come 2 teams. So out of Group A, I have the Netherlands and Senegal coming out of Group A. Group B, excuse me. Group B, I have England and the United States coming out of that group. Group C is Argentina and Poland. Look for Poland to be led by Robert Lewandowski. I think he'll be up for player of the tournament if Poland makes a deep run. Group D is France and Denmark. Group E is Germany and Spain coming out of that group. I believe technically Group E or Group H could be considered your group of death. Group E consisting of Germany, Spain, Japan, and Costa Rica. Costa Rica is kind of a sleeper team, and so keep an eye out for them. But I have Germany and Spain coming out of Group E. Group F is Belgium and Croatia. I have Group G as Brazil and Serbia. Serbia kind of another sleeper team to keep your eyes out for. And Group H, I have Portugal and Uruguay coming out of those groups. So with my selections, I have then the United States having to face the Netherlands in the round of 16. And I actually have the United States winning that match. I think that the United States has a much better squad than the Netherlands currently. Maybe a little bit younger, a little bit more energy perhaps than the Netherlands. And the United States, I think, has a big chip on our shoulder after not making the last World Cup. And then my next round of 16 match, I have Argentina against Denmark. And I have Argentina knocking Denmark out of the tournament for that one. Match 3 then is England versus Senegal. England, I think, just has too much firepower for Senegal to keep up. Match 4 is France against Poland. And again, France as the defending champs, I think, is just too much for Poland to handle. Poland really only has a couple standout players, and France is just loaded at every position. Even with a couple key injuries to France's midfield, I think France just makes too much of a deep run here. Match 5 is Germany against Croatia. I think this is going to be one heck of a barn burner match for me personally, but I think Germany comes out on top. Brazil against Uruguay is kind of a South American rivalry, so look for Brazil and Uruguay to get very heated very quickly in that match. But I think I have Brazil coming out on top there. And then match 7 is Belgium against Spain. Belgium has too much firepower for Spain. Spain is too old or too inexperienced to. I mean, they don't have any middle ground really in Spain for their team. I think Spain just barely squeaks out of the group stage and then just gets demolished by Belgium. And then my match 8 is Portugal taking on Serbia, and I have Portugal with my boy Cristiano Ronaldo destroying Serbia's hopes of advancing in the World Cup. So that brings us then to the quarterfinal, match 1. So again, 4 matches here. Match 1 is the United States against Argentina. And as much as I want to put down the U.S. as the victors here, I think Argentina is too stacked up front with their trident of attackers for the United States to take down. So I have Argentina beating the United States. And then in the quarterfinal 2, the match of the tournament up to this point for me is Brazil against Germany. And I think Brazil comes into this game with absolute fire in their eyes, looking to 7-1 Germany themselves.
Get that revenge tour going.
Exactly. The revenge tour, I think, would be very real for Brazil there. Brazil travels well for a nation, too, so look for a lot of Brazil fans to be in Qatar. You may be surprised to see Brazil fans at every single match. My quarterfinal match 3 is England against France. England has a really good squad right now, but again, I think France is just too deep, even with their injuries, for England to do much against it. England, known for choking in big games. They did choke in the Euros 2020 final. Again, they got to the final, but they choked it. I think they were the better team there, so look for England to kind of choke out of the tournament here in the quarterfinals against France. And then my quarterfinal match 4 is Belgium taking on Portugal, and as much as I love Cristiano, he can't defend, and Belgium, I think, puts about 3 or 4 past Portugal in the quarterfinal 4. Bringing us to the semifinals, where we have another South American grudge match between Argentina and Brazil. And on this day, I think Brazil takes Argentina down. I think Brazil advances over Argentina, leaving Lionel Messi with no World Cup for him to hoist as he retires from the World Cup. Oh, it breaks my little heart. Not really.
Rides off into the sunset,
Not quite. Not for his benefit. I think Neymar against Messi is going to be an amazing match. One last time for them to kind of play against each other, as they are teammates currently on PSG. So I think that'd be an amazing game also, but Brazil takes that one. And then the second semifinal, Belgium against France. Again, I think Belgium is the team of the tournament to beat here. Names like Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku, to name a few, Eden Hazard. I mean, he hasn't done much at Real Madrid currently, but I think they have too much talent on that Belgium squad for France even. And France, with their 2 big injuries in midfield, N'Golo Kante and Paul Pogba, they don't have a defensive midfield good enough to keep Kevin De Bruyne quiet. So I think Belgium advances over France, bringing us to the final of Brazil versus Belgium. The Bees battling it out in Qatar, and I have Belgium beating Brazil in the final to win the World Cup for Belgium. Third place team, no one really cares about, but third place is going to go to France beating Argentina in the third place match. So Lionel Messi does not even get a bronze medal at his final World Cup.
All he gets is another L.
And that's all he can hold. All right, sorry, enough slander against Lionel Messi.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say is your rankings initially was Brazil and then Belgium, correct?
Correct.
So you're literally picking 1 and 2 to make it to the finals, but
yes.
Just the upset of 2 beating 1.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did.
Where's
the
Cinderella
first.
story? Where's the team
the
to
Cinderella
make it
story?
Through?
The Cinderella story would be, I think, if the United States could make a deep run, and that would require the United States beating one Argentina, and then I think having to beat Belgium or Brazil. Like, do you think I don't think the United States has that yet in our repertoire to beat Argentina and then Brazil back to back. But mark my words, if the United States gets out of the group stage and beats Argentina or the Netherlands in their first death match, look for the United States to carry that momentum deep. My sleeper pick is still Poland to maybe make a deeper run than I'm even predicting here. But I know the way it works out, number 1 and 2 in the world facing off against each other in the final is super, super cliche and whatever. But I did my predictions and then went and looked at the FIFA rankings. So either I know what I'm talking about or I'm really just guessing lucky and hoping for the best here.
Oh, it sounds like you're that guy that picks Gonzaga to win March Madness every year.
And then they win, so it's crazy.
But they don't win. That's the thing.
I know, but everyone predicts it. That's where the money's. I think the biggest money bets are going to be on Brazil, to be honest. So look for that.
Probably. They're pretty stacked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the podcast this week. I really appreciate you stopping by and giving us something a little different to talk about.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Alex. I appreciate it. Happy birthday again. I hope everyone watching at least gives the World Cup a chance. Watch the U.S. men's national team. Play their group stages, kind of get a feel for it. I think our first game is going to be against Wales, Monday, November 21st. So, turn on your TV, stream it online somehow, find the game, give them a watch. I think it's worth your time. And go USMNT. I think USA's got a chance to make some noise this World Cup. So I'm
awesome.
looking forward to it, Alex.
Well, I'll be watching for sure alongside you. So let's hope the U.S. can do something this year, and hopefully your predictions are right. And if not, hopefully the U.S. can kind of make a run.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope my predictions are completely wrong, and the U.S. team is bringing back a World Cup trophy. Man, how crazy would that be? Wow.
That would be nuts. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
All right. See ya.
See you, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you, Dakota, for giving us a little preview into the World Cup. And Vic, I want to move over to the other kind of football, which is American football, starting with our Thursday Night Football review.
Oh boy, my favorite.
Yeah, especially this week because it was the Panthers versus the Falcons. Falcons were 1-point favorites. Yeah, Panthers win 25-15. So
rough game for the Falcons, honestly. Marcus Mariota tries his best Patrick Mahomes impression, trying to throw from the ground to try to save the game, and absolutely misses.
I mean, can you blame him though? I mean, that's all he could really do, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was a rough night all around. I mean, Cordell Patterson didn't do anything to help the team. I think he had a total of 3 fantasy points this week. Rough game all around for the Falcons. It's not efficiently moving the ball. Panthers come away with an amazing win after losing to this team just a couple weeks ago, actually.
Did you see what Baker Mayfield did after the game?
Yeah, he was like headbutting everyone.
He was speedrunning his CTE development.
Hey man, he's got to catch up to Antonio Brown somehow.
He'll end up on some XFL team somewhere and start saying some crazy stuff.
Well, I mean, didn't Johnny Manziel do the same thing?
Hey, you're right. Following his footsteps.
That bombshell.
So one thing I want to do though, something crazy. I want to review our predictions for this game.
That's crazy. They were. And now for Thursday Night Football preview.
Yeah. So guys, we might have forgot to review the Thursday Night Football game from last week. So
it was on the agenda. We just kind of skimmed over it because of how boring it was. Honestly, yeah. I think is exactly what happened.
I don't think anyone will miss us, reviewing Panthers and Falcons. I think we're okay.
Honestly, if we didn't miss it, I'm sure the viewers didn't. And if you did, put hashtag Thursday Night Football in the comments, and we'll do better.
Do you wanna get us going on this week's Thursday Night Football though? Because we're not gonna miss this one.
Because this one's very interesting.
Yes.
Both teams coming off wins. Both teams coming off of crazy, weird games. Titans coming off a 17-10 game where Derrick Henry could not run the goddamn ball against the Broncos, but they won. Packers coming off a wild overtime finish against the Cowboys, which we thought was going to be a loss for them. That was crazy. Honestly, it seemed to have righted the ship a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see how they can handle the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry. Hopefully he can run a little bit better against the Packers here. But both teams on short weeks here. As far as 538 shows it's got a 53 quality rating. Not very important at a 13 and overall 33, but for a Thursday night game, that's got to be expected. Both teams doing relatively well in their division now, especially with the Packers getting off that 5-game losing streak. This is another, I do believe, loss we predicted in our Packer Paranoia section last week. I think I'm going to stick with that. The Titans only favored by 2 points. So I'm going to take the Titans 28-24. Green Bay showed a little more signs of life this week. Great turnaround for them. I think Aaron Rodgers has got that proverbial fire under his butt and is ready to save his season as much as he can and hopefully climb back to at least a wild card for the NFC. I think it's going to be hard going with Derrick Henry just chugging along. You know, you just watch their defense give up 100 yards to Tony Pollard. Surely Derrick Henry can do that. You would hope so.
Yeah, well, I saw what the Packers did against Dallas, and I'm gonna ride with them. Let's ride, Packers Nation.
Ride. Oh,
so, I'm gonna ride with the Packers. I don't love it though. I'm doing this more for homerism, not because I actually believe in them.
Fair enough. That's understandable.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna say 21-14 Packers. I'm gonna say it's a low-scoring-ish game, kind of a boring one. Packers are gonna find a way to score another touchdown. That's all I'll say.
You know what? And if Ryan Tannehill's at quarterback like he was this last week, and throwing an abysmal 12 for 36 or something horrible like that, sure, I'll give the Packers a chance. But I'm just going to hope Derrick Henry can just run over them and actually score me fantasy points next week. And with that, Alex, let's review our 530 greats from last week.
Yeah, so the 538 games of the week review, starting with Vikings-Bills. Very interesting game.
Shocker, really.
Vikings ended up winning this game in overtime, 33-30, which, honestly, we guessed the score pretty close. We just picked the wrong team.
Yeah, not horrible. You were a little closer than I was. You had 33-21. I had 27-24. Both of us had the Bills, though. And you know what? Props to the Bills for putting on a bigger choke job than the Atlanta Falcons in that Super Bowl against the Patriots. Because, holy shit, Kirk Thugginz had an almost touchdown there at the end on a rush, called him short, and then Josh Allen fumbles the handoff for a defensive touchdown with... what? Was it 20-ish, 30 seconds to go?
Yep. They just said, here you go. You can have this.
I mean, Allen makes an impressive field goal drive. They kick the field goal. They go to overtime. They had it second. Vikings settled for a field goal with their initial possession. And then the Bills couldn't move the ball. Obviously, probably had horrible flashbacks to last week against the Jets, where Josh Allen just considerably kept throwing red zone interceptions and couldn't do a goddamn thing.
So this is 2 losses in a row for Buffalo, isn't it?
Yep. Jets have a bye this week, so they're going to be nice and well rested, along with the Patriots, both playing on Sunday. So the Bills will be praying for a Patriots win to hopefully keep them in first place in the division. The East is getting tighter, though. It looks like everyone's within at least a game of each other. I do believe the Dolphins, with their win today over the Browns, do leap into first place, though. So East is heating up. There seems to be anybody's division with these honestly crazy losses for the Bills. Just honestly throwing away games to people they don't need to throw to. And primetime Kirk O'Chains gets to put his chains back on after this game. Crazy. And he's now, 8-1?
Yeah, he is on another level.
And then our other 530 great, Alex, coming all the way from Germany early Sunday morning. The Buccaneers squeak out against the Seahawks 21-16. I get a game up on you here, though. I had 24-20, the Bucs, little lower scoring. You had 21-20 Seahawks. I thought it was an interesting game. I saw some more highlights than the actual game. I might have slept in a little on Sunday.
As you do.
Hey, it's ungodly early. I know they're 6 hours ahead of us on the clock, but help me out here, NFL. Play a night game in Germany. That'd be cool.
Remember last week when we were asking ourselves, is Tom Brady really going to get outplayed by Geno Smith?
Honestly, I think the biggest surprise out of this game, Rachaad White at running back for Tampa Bay had a great game. I believe he outcarried and outrushed Leonard Fournette.
Wow.
And had a great day on the ground. Really strong number 2 there in Tampa. You're seeing come out.
What's funny is I had Rachaad White on my fantasy team, like, beginning of the season as some, like, super late draft pick. And I had gotten rid of him because I'm like, this guy's not going to do anything. But hey, he got his chance.
He did. And hopefully we'll see more of him going forward. Alas, we must go forward in the podcast and look forward to next week's 5:30 greats. Cowboys sticking with the NFC North here, going right from Green Bay, hopping over one state to Minnesota, taking on the Vikings at home, and the Cowboys, that crazy overtime loss to the Packers. Big 5:30 grade here, 94 quality. Is at 65 importance and an 80 overall game. One of the higher rated games this week. And you know what? I think this is going to be a very defensive game. As crazy as it may sound. Here, give me Kirk Thugginz 24-21. It's going to be a close game. I think Kirk's going to get the ball back after it being tied up 21-21. And then they're going to drive down, and Greg the Leg is going to kick an amazing field goal like he did against the Bills.
Well, Vic, that's a good prediction, and I don't hate it, but I think you forgot something big. You did. This game's at 3:30.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Kirk Cousins is not known to shine when it's a non-noon game. For that reason alone, I have to take the Cowboys. And I don't like the Cowboys, but I have to do it. I think this is going to be some BS game where Cowboys squeak out a win here. I'm going to say, we'll say 27-24 Cowboys. They're going to look decent. Right. Kirk's going to put up decent numbers, but the score is going to make it seem way closer than it actually was. Kirk's going to get a garbage time touchdown. It's not even going to matter.
Of course.
Cowboys are going to win this game, no problem. That's my prediction.
Fair enough. Well, our other 5:30 great game, Alex, is going to be the Chiefs and the Chargers. Big divisional battle here in LA. 85 quality, 83 importance. Gonna help settle that division a little bit. An 84 overall score. Very awesome here. What do you got for me?
What do I got? Well, this is a game that I would actually sit down and watch. Like, this is a game that actually, this is going to be the Sunday night football game. And it wasn't before. They actually flexed this game to make it a Sunday night game. I don't remember who was playing before. Doesn't matter. This game obviously has more meaning. And Justin Herbert is a hair overrated. I must say, I like Justin Herbert, but you got to start winning games, my guy.
He's got a career record of 500.
If he's hovering around that, I mean, they are the Chargers, so he had a little catching up to do. But this game's going to be electric. I think we are in for a blowout. And not a blowout one against the other. I mean, like, both offenses are going to be blowing out the other team's defenses.
You mean a shootout? Like whoever has the ball last is gonna win here, huh?
Looks like I just had a blowout in my terminology for predictions. So yes, Vic, it's going to be a shootout.
All right.
Anyway, my actual prediction here. I'm going to go big. I'm going to say 35-33 Chiefs. High scoring game. Like, high scoring game.
I like the thinking.
Yeah.
I am going to play the underdog again here, and this sounds crazy. Herbert's looking pretty decent. He's got his man Austin Eckler. If Keenan Allen finally goes on fucking IR, which would be great for them because it saves them a roster spot and they can elevate someone. Joshua Palmer's look great. Mike Williams is unfortunately still out with an ankle, but their depth wide receivers are performing great. I like your score. I'm going to go a little higher scoring.
Higher?
35-38 Chargers.
No way.
I feel like this is going to be... You remember that crazy Rams-Chiefs game that was like 49-42 at the end of it between Patrick Mahomes and, I can't believe I'm saying this, Jared Goff a couple years ago? I think you're right. I think it's going to be a nice little shootout. I think it's going to be very similar to that game. I feel there's going to be lots of throwing in this game, so watch out for Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in your fantasy games this week.
Big fantasy upside this week for both of them. All right, Vic. Well, speaking of really good teams, we're going to do a new segment that's starting this week.
Ooh, fun.
Yep, we're doing the Griefer Power Hour, where we do a power rankings for the top 5 teams in the NFL. I'm going to start it off this week. You'll take it over next week, but come on, give it to me. Number 5 on this list, the Dallas Cowboys. I know they just lost against the Packers. I know it didn't look great, but they have a decent record in a surprisingly good division this year, and I can't argue with it. I mean, they're playing decent under Dak Prescott. They're a top NFC team. I got to give them credit where credit's due. I will say, though, that I am putting them in the top 5, but I fully expect a playoff choke this year. And yes, I think they will make the playoffs. It might be a wild card game because I think they're going to drop a few more before the season's done. But
you got to remember, the Eagles in their division are probably going to take the number 1 seed and the bye.
Oh, yes. You're right. So yes, Cowboys are going to lose a wild card game. And it could be against the Packers. Wouldn't that be funny?
Actually, wouldn't it be crazy? Wouldn't it be against Brady? Because he'd be the worst in the NFC as far as champions. And then the Cowboys, I think, are the next best team in the, they'd be the next best team in the NFC. They'd probably be the 5 seed, wouldn't they? And they'd take on the 4. They lose to Tom Brady in the playoffs. I mean, shocker.
Ouch. All right, number 4 on my list. Give it to me, the Minnesota Vikings, with a record of 8-1. They beat the Bills in a really close game this week. I mean, they have to be a top 5 team just by default. They're probably going to fall apart, similar to the Cowboys later in the season. I don't really believe in the Vikings. And maybe I'm a little biased, perhaps.
Gotta keep out hope for your team. That's fair.
I gotta have some hope for the Packers here. But
certainly Kirk doesn't have that many 1 p.m. games left this season, right?
Right. I mean, he's got to drop a few more. I am not praying on their downfall. I'm just saying they're top 4 right now, but they'll find a way to choke it out later. Finally, moving away from the NFC, we're gonna move to the AFC with number 3 on my list, the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes looks like a stud, and their offense has not missed Tyreek Hill nearly as much as people thought. Juju Smith-Schuster has been playing well, and Kadarius Toney even got a touchdown for this team, didn't he?
Yo, did you see a celebration on that touchdown? That was hilarious.
It just goes to show that the man really just didn't want to play in New York. I am sorry, Giants fans, but it's not a good look when Kadarius Toney already has a score on his new team, and he couldn't do anything for you all that time with the New York Giants. All right, number 2 on my list, give it to me, the Buffalo Bills. Why? They're the best team in the AFC, I think, by far. Josh Allen's a stud. The only thing, though, is you gotta stop losing games to the Jets and Vikings. I mean, not even just the Vikings. Well, you gotta stop losing to divisional rivals. And like the Vikings game, that's a good team.
You know what? You can't deny it. They did play their hearts out. Josh Allen was struggling with that elbow inflammation, I believe, is what they ended up finally saying it was. He didn't hurt his UCL there. Just inflamed it. He played great, but yeah, you're right. He did lose to the Vikings, did lose to Miami, unfortunately, and the Jets. Big divisional losses. But I think you're right. I think they'll fix it here. I love that ranking.
And then number 1 on my list, gotta be the Eagles. I mean, they're the only unbeaten team in the NFL, and we're already at a week 10, so that's pretty darn impressive.
Fly, Eagles, fly, man.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I love it. Well, Vic, I think we're going to move away from football and go to our gaming segment of the podcast. We have a lot of gaming stuff to cover, so starting off with Gears of War, a game that hasn't really seen much attention recently, but it's a series that I've enjoyed playing in the past. Has a good story. I like the characters. It's kind of the first third-person shooter type game. It made it really popular. But the news with it, though, is they are getting a full movie on Netflix and maybe even an animated series.
I saw that. I think David Bautista posted something on Instagram. Looks like a little teaser trailer. I thought that was really interesting.
And what I'm curious to see is maybe we'll even get a new Gears of War game added to the series alongside with this TV show. I kind of doubt it. I don't know if it really fits the genre of today's gaming market, but it would be cool to see. It's a It's a pretty iconic series. I think a lot of people would like a new game, but I don't know. I'm excited that they're gonna get a movie. I just hope it doesn't suck, and I hope it doesn't act kind of like the Halo TV show that sort of flopped pretty bad.
Not even sorta. It was really bad. I would probably put this on like for me personally, I know it seemed a lot of people loved it. You remember Doom that came out a little while ago? That was another, it was based off a book. That was the one I wasn't hyped up for, but apparently audiences really liked it, so I kind of could see this going that way.
Yeah, it'll be on my radar. And, interest level, I'm at like a solid, I'll say 7 out of 10. Like, I'm interested. I'm not like drooling over it, but I'd definitely give it a look.
Understandable. Another fun game set to release later this week, Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. Another open world, very similar to Legends of Arceus. Legends of Arceus was really more of a walk, so this game could run type of a deal. And I think this is going to be very interesting. There has been some leaked gameplay, and it does seem smoother. As far as buying it, I'm going to put it under consideration. I might get Scarlet. I don't think I'd get them both. Pokemon's been really on top of this. There's been some leaked special Pokemon. There's always version-specific ones. And there are some cool version-specifics in Scarlet, and I think that's why I'm leaning towards it more. If I were to get one to beat Scarlet, not sure how I'm going to like the game, because it looks like the legendaries you don't even catch and battle with, you just catch them and ride on them. Kind of replaces the bike feature in the game.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
It is a little weird. And, you get them, right at the start, I think, from leaked gameplay. Don't quote me on it. I haven't watched a lot of the leaked gameplay. I'm not sure if I'll buy it. You gonna buy
it? Here's the deal. I will admit that I really haven't played any of the open world style new games. I don't want to say that Sword and Shield was open world.
I think Legends of Arceus was more open world than that.
If the game comes out and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, you have to play this, then yeah, I'd probably consider buying it.
All right.
Just because I like the Pokemon universe, I like the games from old, but I'll give it a 3 out of 10 in terms of how much I'm interested in it. It's not very high on my priorities.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Pokemon's always been, honestly, kind of one of my foundation games. One of the first games I played on my DS was Pokemon Diamond. Loved it. I loved it when they re-released Diamond. I played the heck out of that. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. So that's your favorite game?
It's got to be Diamond. That's what got me interested. Okay. Love it.
My favorite Pokemon game has to be Pokemon Emerald. I love Pokemon Emerald.
All right, that's oldie but a goodie.
Oldie but a goodie. I like the story that you follow. I like Rayquaza.
Of course.
It's a game that I always go back to, and it's funny. I always play it on my phone. I'll have the ROM that I completely legally downloaded
of course.
To play on my phone. I come back to it once in a while, play through it, have a good time, and it's really good old classic Pokemon game.
That's good.
And then another game that we have to talk about is Halo Infinite. Yes, it's a game that we used to play a fair amount. I'll admit we played quite a bit for a while. We kind of lost interest. So the big news for Halo Infinite is they just released their winter update, which saw a couple of features added. They added a network co-op mode. You can play with your friends.
Finally.
Finally, right. That's something they promised way at the beginning.
Yeah. They said, a couple months after launch. It's been almost a year post-launch, but, continue.
Yeah, whatever. Apparently some of the campaign missions you can now replay.
Yeah.
So I guess that's something people have been demanding. There's new campaign achievements that were just added. And they changed the progression system with how you earn XP in the game.
Oh.
And all this was wrapped up with a little bow with the new Battle Pass that came out with this game.
How fun. Alex, quick question. Can I select my game mode yet?
No.
Oh. Well, I guess I won't be playing it then.
Back to Modern Warfare 2.
And speaking of that, big update today. We will be playing later tonight. Alex, will we be streaming later tonight? Modern Warfare 2 streaming?
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
We'll be absolutely streaming.
Warzone 2 dropping today as well. Big expansions, at least, fixing what they've taken out. We do get Shoot House on release. That'll be fun. A good OG map being remastered as always. We get that on release day, and we'll get Shipment mid-season Anything else I'd like to see added? I know they're adding the M13 in and adding a new weapon platform to the game, so there'll be new guns to play with come Wednesday. New guns to grind, new guns to get gold. Gotta love that. And Alex, there's something they're removing on Wednesday too.
Oh?
Oh, they're removing the worst, most vile rectangle of a map ever. Border crossing is leaving the game because Mexico has copyright claimed the border crossing.
I didn't know you could claim something like that, but hey, if it means the map is gone, bless.
W for the game. Thank you, Mexico.
Because, I mean, instead of adding a map voting system, you know, we just leave games with border crossing because it's pretty bad. It doesn't punish us, so why not?
Just stop queue. You don't have to play it.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. Speaking of map voting, another kind of system that has gone on kind of well is the new reporting system, I guess, in Modern Warfare 2. They have banned 500,000 players due to breach of the code of conduct that you signed prior to beginning the game. So watch out, players. Careful what you say, because if you get reported, Infinity Ward's coming for you.
Man, I have to say, when I play Modern Warfare 2, the post-game lobbies are just such a great community now, thanks to the code of conduct, right?
Oh, yeah. Great. Not different from the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies of old at all.
Right. It's such a wholesome place to talk with your opponents.
Yeah, and as far as those ban goes, it looks like it's mainly from voice and text chat. Looks like you'll still be able to play, but you won't be able to talk to anyone. I'm sure if it's bad enough, they will just, take your 70 or whatever money you paid if you bought the Vault Edition, take your $100, laugh at your face, and call you stupid and leave you without a game.
I wonder, there's times where we're like in game chat, and I notice that certain players just have like a mute button on, like permanently. I wonder if those are people that have been reported.
Be interesting to find out. But, at the end of the day, just having fun, man. Loving the game. However, I am also looking to Warzone 2. There was a lot of updates on that.
Yeah, I'm excited for Warzone 2, to be honest. I know we said we were kind of tired of Battle Royales, but it sounds like Warzone 2 is kind of taking the best of both worlds between like Warzone 2 or Warzone and like a game like Apex. Because I believe they changed the way, because there aren't really loadouts anymore, correct?
No, you can earn in-game money and buy your primary weapon off of one of your loadouts for like $5,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, actually, it kind of looks like, and I'm sure this is rumored, well, more than confirmed, depending on what attachments you put on your gun, it might cost more, maybe. But also, it looks like it's just like a base $5,000 cost for like a pre-made gun. You'll get the primary, and not your primary and secondary, or any of your perks, I believe. I think it's just the gun itself. The new Gulag mode.
Yeah, can you explain how that works for our viewers?
There's some big controversy on this one. Even Tim the Tatman laid into it and started a Twitter hashtag. We'll get into that in a minute. The Gulag is 2v2.
What?
That's not even the worst part. So all players will be randomly assigned to a 2v2 group. So it's possible you may not even be with your partner or duo or one of your squad mates against another squad. It'll be 2 people on each team randomly assigned. Everyone will spawn with the same gun. However, there'll be higher tier loot towards the middle of the map, and if not everyone is killed in a certain amount of time, there's a jailer that comes into the map that is an NPC, and starts shooting at all 4 of you. The winning team is redeployed, or if all 4 of you work together and defeat the jailer, all 4 of you will be released. So Tim the Tatman has decided to start the hashtag Fight the Robot movement for Warzone 2. He wants the Warzone community to come together, and all 4 of the people in the Gulag, if you end up there, fight the jailer. Don't shoot the other team. Don't die. Just shoot the robot. All 4 of you come back to the game.
I'd be curious to see how many people actually do that, because like it's kind of a communal thing, and like you're basically guaranteed to go back into the game as long as you don't kill each other.
Yes, and actually it's been a very big thing that has swept through the COD community. I don't know if they're going to change it post-update, but I believe Tim even got the support of some COD pros on this. So we'll see if there's some sweaty little Timmies just go and wipe the Gulag. Of course, the COD community is upstanding and wholesome, right, Alex?
Ha ha! Yeah, of course. And I just wanted to ask, speaking of, being a good, wholesome community, cheating has been a bit of an issue in Warzone in the past, to the point where Tim's made a living off of it.
True.
Spectating cheaters.
Big spectating.
So the question is, will anti-cheat work in Warzone 2?
You gotta hope. It looks like Ricochet worked when they launched it for Vanguard, and that was the third iteration of Warzone, per se. Because you had Modern Warfare 19 Warzone, and then they combined it with Cold War, and then they combined it with Vanguard. And then they launched Ricochet, and Ricochet seems to have worked. I believe have been less cheaters since Ricochet launched. There were one or two, I believe, spectating cheater videos from Tim after Ricochet launched, but he experienced far less cheaters after Ricochet launched.
Well, that's good.
As long as they keep with Ricochet, I'm sure it will be fine. Ricochet seems to have worked, and I haven't experienced any cheating. Mainly because my skill-based matchmaking is too low. Shout out to SBMM. We'll see. But remember, guys, hashtag fight the robot COD community down in the comments. That wraps up gaming, Alex. Now to move on to our right behind quick chats, my next favorite topic here, studs and duds. And
yes,
I'm gonna come out with a shocker here. My stud and dud are from the same team.
Really?
Yep.
Can you do that? Is that in the rules? Can we do that?
Hey man, you're a podcast. You tell me.
I think we'll let it slide.
We'll let it slide. All right,
that's fair.
I'm gonna start with my dud. My biggest underperformer this week on my fantasy team. He's been a stud in the past and has let me down again. Honestly, the first time since week 2. His lowest scoring fantasy points. It was week 1, 8.2 points. Week 2, 8.5 points. And this week, 8.7 points. The one, the only King Henry. 19 attempts, 53 yards. Less than 2 yards. What's that? Almost 3 yards a carry. Less than 3 yards a carry. 2 receptions on 3 targets for 14 yards. 8.7 points. When he was projected like 20 against the Broncos, I guess shout out to the Broncos for playing run defense, but man, you get the ball 20 times, you go for like 100 and a tutty, right? I am going to blame that on the quarterback decision today, mainly with Ryan Tannehill throwing 2 touchdown passes to my stud, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, 5 catches for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Broncos. It's crazy how this team can just flip around whoever produces. I thought that was interesting. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, the rookie they drafted this year out of that A.J. Brown trade with the Eagles. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine proving himself valuable after having kind of a weird fantasy year. He's done okay, and I think this is proven he's ready to probably take the next step. Hopefully he gets some more looks. I also hope Derrick Henry can produce more this week against the Packers. But Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, my stud, kind of crazy.
I gotta be honest, I had no idea you were going that direction. I don't even know who that guy is, to be honest.
Fair enough.
My stud this week, moving away from sports, is going to be God of War Ragnarok. Heard a lot of good things about that game.
True, it has looked good. Lots of streamers playing. Lots of positive feedback.
I mean, I think everyone knew it was going to be a good game. I don't want to say too big to fail, because there's definitely been games that have failed that were supposedly too big.
Yeah, true.
Looks like it's been a great game. A lot of streamers have been playing it, enjoying it. Which kind of leads me to my dud. Xbox kind of doesn't look too hot right now.
Wow, hot take.
Yet another example of Xbox being compared to PlayStation, because PlayStation puts out another great exclusive game. Xbox was supposed to release Starfield a couple days ago, I think last week. Just not the best look for Xbox right now. Can you think of a really good Xbox exclusive game right now?
No, I guess I really can't. I mean, it was supposed to be Halo's fucking 10 years of awesomeness, and they barely made it 10 months.
Halo just flopped. I don't even know how many people actually play the game still. They just don't add content to the game. It's an Xbox L this week, unfortunately.
Big time.
Well, I think that wraps up our studs and duds, which means I think we're going to wrap up this episode of the Griefer Hour.
Yep.
I just want to say thank you all for tuning in to the episodes. I really appreciate it. We've gotten a lot of good feedback.
Yep.
So I want everyone to please like and subscribe. Put some love down in the comment section below. And Vic, do you have anything else to say?
Put those hashtag quick chats in and hashtag fight the robot COD community.
Awesome. Thank you, Vic. All right, we will see you guys in the next episode of the Griefer Hour.